everyone, good morning. So we are starting our live as promised Thursday. Thursday, the last Thursday of the month, is the day of the coffee with the psychologist. Actually, it's café com a psicóloga, né? Porque foi assim que começou esse projeto. That's why how we start. We start the project. In Portuguese. Hi Desi, welcome. Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. Let's give some time for our viewers to join, for our friends to join us. And so this is the coffee with the psychologist. It's a monthly talk that I bring here in my channel to try to bring concepts to help. Hello, Dani. Dani soon will be here with us. She will be connecting with us. Daniela Everest. She'll be here talking with this. Hello, Zelita. So good you are here with us. Good morning, friend. So Daniela will be talking about, first of all, she will be talking about her exciting life. Daniela is a very interesting friend, a great friend actually, that I met when I was living in Bangkok. And Daniela has been living in a lot of places. She's an expat as us. And why I invite Daniela to be with us? Because I consider Daniela a successful expat woman. Daniela did not just had fun while enjoying the expat living. We know that sometimes being expat can be really fun and we can lose track of real life, but Dani didn't. So Daniela used her time in Asia to improve her career, to study more and to get more knowledge, to create her business. That now Daniela lives in Sydney and she has the QI Home and Living. She's a personal organizer, specialized in Feng Shui and Chinese astrology. So Daniela is super intelligent, clever and funny friend that will be talking to you soon. So the idea of this talk, I call it chit chat, right? Because it's supposed to be something relaxed, right? For us to bring concepts, bring talks that can help us to clear our minds, right? We live in such a busy world with so many influence, so many messages, so many things that overwhelm us about our lives, and we never have, we don't give time, right, to stop and thought about our mind, our mental health, how we are thinking about our lives, how we are doing, and to be happy, to have a good mental health. It's like everything in life, we need to have some focus, right? Focus. So Danielle will be here talking about this. She will be joining us soon. Let's just wait. Dani, people is starting arriving. I know the time is not so good, so I know a few friends cannot join us live because in Brazil it's still too early. In the US it's still too early. They are sleeping still. But this live is gonna be saved in our in my channel, in the IGTV of the Instagram. So everyone can watch later, because I'm sure Dani will give so many good tips about how you can organize your space, your home, and I will be connecting that and how this can help you to improve. And I'm sure Dani has a lot of examples of clients that probably had improved their lives only organizing their house, only organizing. Dani is here organizing their wardrobe, their home, né? So let's bring Dani with us. Let's wait for Daniela. I'll call her Danielle because that's the way I.
Ah, okay.
Hi, Dani.
I mean, having a bit trouble to join because I never done that before. But we have to
Ah.
be here. And thanks for the words. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. You did very well. You are on
Mm.
time.
All right.
Yeah, the first time is always very anxious. For me, I am get very anxious. I even told Dani that I couldn't sleep very well today because I was so excited to talk to her,
Yeah, but you've
right?
been doing that for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, Dani. So the idea of the coffee of psychologists, actually I create in Portuguese. So as café com a psicóloga, it's to bring people to talk for our friends about things, concepts that can help us to improve our mental health, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking about a new subject to bring, and I just thought, oh my God, I want to bring a successful expat, and I consider
Thanks for
you
that.
as a sexual expat because, as I was telling before, you are not just having fun because expat life sometimes can be so much fun,
I
right?
did had a lot of fun.
We had Bangkok was a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
of fun for us, right?
yeah.
But you didn't lose track for your career, for develop yourself. So you study a lot, right?
Yeah.
About so many
Yeah.
interesting things. And I thought that Dani has a lot to contribute to bring tips about organization because that's your business, but also enlightening, right? All the women that are living this expat life and they can do something better of this experience, right? To also
Yeah.
invest in themselves, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Dani, I want to first welcome you again. Say
Mm-hmm.
thank you very much to
Okay.
accept this, to be here with us. And please introduce yourself because
Okay.
nobody better than you to talk about you. So, Dani,
Okay. I
please
started.
introduce.
Uh, well, I'm sure there are a lot of expats women out there that they have a longer journey than mine. But my journey as an expat started in 2004 in Singapore.
Mhm.
And in Singapore, I was still like a very fresh Brazilian. And then, but then when you meet other expats, and then you kind of related more, like other expat women instead like just another Brazilian like me. That's started my change my mind about expats life. And then we moved to Jakarta, and in Jakarta I really find something to do. And then I always I remember once I had a chat that was so interesting when talking to people overseas, other nationalities. I remember this lady, she was Japanese, and she told me, just talking to her, she was a psychologist, and she said, you should work with houses or with home. And I said, are you kidding? Then when I started to study interior decoration in Singapore,
Mm.
then we moved to Jakarta. Then I said, what can I do here? It's also like we have the expats activities, which I loved, but I always want to do something else. And it's okay. I do organizing here because I was online. I remember, I think one of the first groups that was studying online, because my course was in Canada.
Wonderful.
That's when I started studying organizing. And then I did some organizing work in Jakarta with the expat ladies. So my first experience were with expats.
Excellent. Yeah.
And we can talk about that, how our emotional side affects expats in organizing our wardrobe, for
Exactly.
example.
Exactly.
And then we moved to Adelaide. Adelaide is in the South Australia, and it's a country town. It's very small.
Mhm.
That's one of the hardest place for me because I'm from big city. I'm from São Paulo.
Yeah.
And I just lived in big cities, Singapore, big city, Jakarta, big city. Then I went to this small country town. I said, oh my God, what's going to happen to me? But it was nice. The people, I always join the expat groups. That's one of the suggestions I give.
Yeah.
Join the expat groups
Yeah.
because they give a lot of support. And even Adelaide is more like, I don't know if you guys heard about internations, but internations
International.
everywhere is a lot
Yeah.
of people. In
Yeah.
Adelaide had 12.
Wow.
12
There
people.
are
So
thousands
I
in New
was
York.
one not counting me. So I was number 12 probably. But the friends I made there are still my friends. And that's why I say expats should join the groups. It's very
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
It becomes a family,
Yeah.
become friends for life.
Yeah.
And then I went to Bangkok. And then when the party started, then when I party hard. But I
Psico.
still continue to study because I went back to Asia. So what am I going to do in Asia again? And then I always wanted to study feng shui. It was something was in the back of my mind. And so that's the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I love feng shui and Chinese astrology.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it is accurate, and it's, yeah, I can suspect to say anything about
Wonderful.
feng shui.
And so when you went back to Sydney, you decided to create your company?
Well,
Also was before.
because when you came back to Sydney, I knew you wouldn't live abroad again.
Mm-hmm.
And here it's easier for me to settle my things because I have rights here.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing about expat life. Sometimes not able to
Exactly.
do what you
Yeah.
know, your not use your
Use
skills.
your no. Yeah.
Yeah. So and here's everything was possible. So I felt like, now I can do it. I can. Yeah. So that's why.
Okay.
Yeah. Sydney is home.
Yes.
So.
Okay. Uh-huh. Wonderful.
But it was hard. You started being successful, but in a way I succeed because set up in a business in a country that you never lived is
Mm-hmm.
not easy. I
No.
need to really educate myself about the law here, bureaucracy,
Mm-hmm.
and meet the because we don't know who you meet. In the expat community is kind of easy. You have a group,
Yeah.
but you have to meet people you don't
Local
know like anything
people.
about it. It's kind
Yeah.
of, yeah, you need
Yeah.
to be really careful, I think.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
even, sorry to interrupt, but even in a language that we know, we can read, we can
Mm.
express ourselves, but even that, to check for laws, to check their websites, to see
Yeah.
regulations, things like that in another language that is not our mother tongue, it's hard. Huh? I found that very difficult here because here I had to do everything in French, so I'm not so good in French.
Yeah.
So it's hard to also find information from another country,
Yeah.
another language, right?
It is. It is. Even though, like, I wouldn't say my English is the best, but I still have, sometimes I have a hard time to understand what people are saying. But at least I can tell that I did understand. Like, I look, can you repeat? But it's still, but it is,
Yes.
I found Australians, they're very understanding if foreigners, because
Yeah.
here is a country of foreigners, have a lot of foreigners here. So.
Yeah.
In Sydney, I don't know about other places.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but it's a big challenge.
And do you think that it's been a city like that, more international, let's say, do you think they are more welcome to expat to people from,
Well, I think they are more used to foreigners.
yes, more
Yeah, and then Australia have a lot of people that migrate here,
mm-hmm.
so they kind of they're very acceptable
Mm-hmm.
about other nationalities. Of course, there are races and people that misjudge, but that's everywhere. But in general, I would say they are very welcoming. That's how I feel. So
Yeah.
well, I can't say much because I love Sydney.
Like
I
this.
love, I love, I love that he is kind of the thing they have in Rio, like the city on the beach, and I
Uh-huh.
love that.
Uh-huh. It was a good point. I think Verinha from Bangkok, I think she just joined us. So she's just telling that you did a very good point, right? Like the expats and locals are different markets, right?
Yeah,
And bring back to the expat and organization things you're talking about. One thing that I was thinking about this subject is that when we are expats and we are moving overseas, also what happened, we have to start our home again, right?
yeah,
You are in your country, everything's settled there, you have a kind of a way to organize your things, let's say, or not organized, right? And then you move to another country and you receive all of that boxes, and your life have changed already, because if when the box arrives already like 3 months, or I don't know, 2 3 months that you don't see your things, and you are inside a new in a new apartment in a new country with all of those things so much
Yeah.
to put all back. So how is this experience? You might have worked with somebody who was like that, arriving and needing your help.
Well, here I
Mm-hmm.
haven't had that experience to assist
Mm-hmm.
an expat.
Uh-huh.
Well, I did assist one expat, but she had already moved in.
Uh-huh.
She was having trouble uh, how to make her house work for her in this new settlement.
Uh-huh.
That is completely different show. She already had her boxes, and
Exactly.
that's how to make the house work for her, because I
Uh-huh.
think that's one of the organizing challenge that people have it.
Mm-hmm.
They work for the house. The house doesn't work for them.
Work for them. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And when we actually, the question I will want to ask is how it works when we, Regina, just get in. Regina, thank you for joining us. And
Mm-hmm.
so my question is, when we hire a personal organizer like you, how is the process? Let's say like I'm expat and I don't know how to deal with this new home and everything is not working fine. As you said, I'm working for the house, not the opposite.
Yeah.
How it works, that process?
Well, the process is very easy. You know, a professional organizer is like any other professional, but
Mhm.
they don't have a store or an office
In
most of the time. They work from, like, they work in your home.
in your home.
So
Yeah.
the easy way to contact them is by reference
Uh-huh.
or online,
Mm-hmm.
or you can always go to the Professional Organized Association where you live.
Mm-hmm.
They should have, like, normally they have the names that professional organized that are registered. So I'm registered here in Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
So if you check on professional organizers in Sydney, you go to the association. My company is there.
Mm-hmm.
So that is I think is the better and the safer way to go,
Mm-hmm.
because when you register, you have to take all the procedures to make sure you're really going to follow the ethics of
Mm-hmm.
being a professional organizer. You must have an insurance. So you bring a stranger to your home, but you can
Yes,
track
that's
them
what I
back.
was thinking.
So it's very important to make sure, not for safety reasons,
Yes.
yeah,
Wonderful.
when you
Wonderful.
hire someone online.
Yeah. Wonderful that you told about that because
Yeah.
I never thought about that. But it's true. You're putting a stranger in your home. So it has
Mhm.
to be somebody that you know you can trust. Very good
Yeah.
point, Danny.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So when you ask about the project, how it develops, right?
Uh-huh.
So the project is, I need to have a little interview
Mm-hmm.
with the client,
Mm-hmm.
so to get some information to establish what needs to be done, what priority to be taken to determine which system to implement before starting the sessions.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important to have that little chat. When
Uh-huh.
you ask questions to the clients, you know what they really want. Because sometimes
Mm-hmm.
the people they don't know what
They
they
don't
want.
want. Uh-huh.
And so when you do those questions, these assessments questions,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
find out what the priority is. And
Mm-hmm.
then you create a system that something that will work, be
Work.
functional for them.
Wonderful.
So
Uh-huh.
that is before starting the session, you
Before
need
they
to have
start.
that chat.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
Can I say something? Because I was just thinking that actually I saw that in a book. I don't know. You might have lived the Essentialist from Gregory McKeown, something like
mm,
this, the
mm,
essentialist, and he
mm,
talks about how can you live essential in your life, right?
mm,
And he gives an example of a personal organizer who go to a house and organize your cabinet or your room, whatever you design, or your whole home. But he says that is like a psychologist work with you because you have to understand what this person wants. You have
yeah,
to understand even sometimes which goals they have because they don't
yeah,
know what they want. So a lot of time people come to me.
Well, because obviously when someone contacts me, something's not working. They can't do themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if they can't do themselves, I need to know that reason.
Yeah.
So it's just, and then we went through this question to kind of say, okay, that's what I can deliver. Also, because sometimes there are different types of professionals. They specialize in different things. Have different type of professional organizers. So the one that is more aesthetic, the one that's that deal with people who have some disorder. So that different types. So
Oh,
and sometimes not able to do, and you have to be honest and tell the
uh-huh.
person.
Yeah. But in the sense that you have to have an active listening to really understand what this person goes and assess to, what they really want from you, right? To deliver a good project, you have to understand very well. So you must be a very good listener too.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and Regina is telling here that a well-organized place, it helps with our mood. So that's why we did this talk about this, because that's super true. There are studies that shows that people who lives in messy place, they are uh, um, more related to even mental health issues, right? Some people think, your room is messy because you are in depression, but most of the time is the opposite. Some mental health issues started because this person live a life that is so messy that he cannot have a mental health, good
yeah,
mental health, right? So yes,
yeah.
Regina, is super important. Yeah.
It is. It is. Yeah. Sometimes I, when I'm dealing with the clients, it's it's like if they could do any better, they would do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If they don't know any better because he haven't experienced that.
Mm-hmm.
He haven't experienced, like some people say, I like my mess, but they say, have you experienced not living in a mess?
Mm-hmm.
What it's like?
Yeah.
So they don't know. It's so when you go there and give a little bit of hint what it's like, then they start changing.
Yeah.
And I think when they contact someone like me, it's because they're already willing to change. That started slowly. But
Mm-hmm.
some people live in a mess for a lifetime, and that's okay.
That's okay. They could have been a more enjoyable life. They could have been living with less noise. We call the ambience noise, right? Because there's so many information. It's like when we open your wardrobe and there are so many clothes and hanging everywhere, and you don't know where are your things, and all those information is super overwhelmed. You can feel overwhelmed, and it's not pleasant, right? It's not pleasant to.
Well, it's not, but that's what I'm saying. If they could do better, they would do.
Mhm,
And those things mean something
mhm,
for them.
mhm,
So that's why I think these kind of jobs that we are doing the live and you post and things, put the things that is starting this mind
mhm.
changing, and then you relate to things in a different way. And then, but sometimes it's much deeper things.
Issue,
And my
yes,
job is not to go in there. My
yes.
job is to do the organizing. So I come
maybe
there, and
maybe
then I
later you can
report
send
to
them
you
to
that
the.
you need a psychologist talk to
Yes.
Leah.
Hey, Dani, Verinha is asking, in your experience, there are more women or men requesting your service, this kind of service?
Well, before here,
Mm-hmm.
only women.
Uh-huh.
Don't have expert men, never ever contact me.
They are too busy
but
working to think about.
but I live in a part of Sydney that how I say it's kind of have a lot of homosexuals, and I think they're more interesting to be more aesthetic. They like that. So yeah, so here it's have a lot of males that I see more interested. It's like increase the numbers here, but it's the area where I live,
Mm-hmm. And do
and
you?
I think also the people more open
Mhm.
to professional organizing now. Things has changed.
Yeah.
Professional organizing is growing. Before, people have misconceptions about professional organizing. Some people think they're cleaners or come to tidy up your place, and it's not that. It's nothing against the cleaners or someone come tidy up your place, but it's not that. Organizing, we create a system that work for you. It's like, and sometimes you're that person that have a lot of clothes in your closet. You have a house full of things, and that's not a problem. You can be that person. Yes, I promote decluttering, but because it's in decluttering, is to get rid of things you don't need, you don't love, you don't want. But we still can have a lot of things, and you love all of them. And how to organize these things? It's like you're going to a bookstore, and imagine all those big books are mixed, and you couldn't find the book you want. You didn't know which session to go because they're mixed together. How you find what you want? That is a messy house. It's not to the amount of things you have, but it's like, where can I find what I want? That to save you time. And the time, with the time, you can do a lot of things.
Yes.
So it's okay to have a lot of things, because some people think, I'm going to throw my things away. I say, no, you're going to throw your things away. I don't throw your things away.
But there is this very important concept that I think it's important also. It's about the joy that the things brings to you, right? Because of course, everyone is difficult to give away or to let it go things, right? So this concept that thing doesn't bring joy to you, or like if it's a outfit, a cloth, a piece of cloth, that if you never felt amazing with that piece of cloth, why keep it, right? If it doesn't bring you joy.
Well, the reason that people keep things is because of the memory. That's when you say when the things can be difficult with a client, because they want to change, but how much they are willing to change. And sometimes, like, you have a lot of clothes, but those clothes, can you fit in your wardrobe, on your closet? Can you get another one? Can you afford to have another closet? Sometimes you can't. And then what are you going to do? So if your piece of clothes is no longer something you wear, that is not a clothes anymore. That's something else. That is a memory.
Memorabilia.
And then we can create a box, can make a beautiful box to say memories of my life. I've done that before. If a client, you create a box of memories and put your memories there.
I should have hired you when I was leaving Bangkok, because you know what? I just threw away all my costumes. You don't remember how much costumes I have in Bangkok, but I just threw away everything.
I
And
think
now
you all
sometimes
have. I just have
regret.
two. Because that's why you're saying, it's like people are not ready. The way they relate to their belongings is not about my judgment. You know, so my job is to understand where they are. What can I do to help them to live better with their belongings?
Yeah.
I want to make my goal is to make their home a beautiful place to live, where they can move. A house has to have a purpose in our lives, and then sometimes the house lose that purpose.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I believe also with the feng shui and the Chinese astrology, I think you can bring also some good energies, right? The way you arrange the house, right?
Probably, I think it's there. It's comes with my work.
Yes. And
Because one of the things about what I study in Chinese metaphysics is the balance. Because in Chinese metaphysics, the excess is what's creating balances in our lives. So everything is too much becomes a problem. So it's very related to what I do.
Related.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And if you think about a difficult client, what makes difficult in your work?
Well, I never experienced a really difficult client, because I'm very careful before, like to
Okay.
to ask to have that questionnaire to assess their needs. But
What is more
sometimes
difficult?
sometimes you don't report if the person it don't click, or sometimes the client should just not committed to make that work, and then that can make things difficult. But I think also I never experienced, but I think someone that's going for a mental problem, and I know there exists people going for emotional distress, that can affect
Yes.
the process of things, can make things difficult.
Yes.
But yeah, maybe I don't, maybe someone says it's very difficult dealing with some people, but for me it's okay because I'm there to do my job, and
You love what you do, so then it's
I
not
do.
that difficult, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the most important thing, to love what we do. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. And what else? I want to also ask. I was thinking to ask you about something about the feng shui, but I don't know if it's easier to give some tip. But what can we do ourselves, like a little bit, that can help have better energy? That's something that we can do ourselves that could improve energy also at home.
Look, this is very tricky question because I studied classical feng shui, and classical feng shui is you study the land where you live.
Okay.
A land like like where it is located, not the house itself.
Not the house.
So that will affect until you, the person. So you have to take the layers to come to you when you do the feng shui. The classic feng shui works like that. So there are some principles that you should never do in feng shui. You never face your back to the door.
That's an interesting one. You cannot face
well, because the feng shui have principles like is water and mountain. That means rest, and water is movement. So if you are facing your back to the movement, you don't see what's happening.
Okay.
So you have to face what is happening. So you can anything can happen in that moment, and when you see what's happening, you're prepared.
Interesting.
And when you face your back, or when you have your shop, store, work, not like a store that is not facing the movement, like the street or the things are flowing, you probably don't get as much client as you wish.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
that's just some principles like that.
Makes sense.
And but I think I can't just give tips like that because it involves so many things in feng shui.
Understand.
And in a classical way, so some people can start doing things, but it's very, because when you do the feng shui of the person as well, so how affect that person, where she is in her life. We classical feng shui practitioners believe you're creating a karma if you're creating a harm to other person. So for feng shui, if you really want to know, contact me. I'm happy to do a consultation. I do two types. I do the house and I do the Chinese astrology. That is for the person. It's for the person, and I do online.
Wonderful. That's we can do online, right? So anyone, anywhere, like friends here in Geneva, they can go and contract. Oh, that's wonderful. So good to know. And I'd like to
you learn about your nature. With in Chinese metaphysics, it's your nature. How in the phases of your life.
Wonderful.
So you know yourself better.
And we have somebody here telling that Danielle is an excellent professional. With her help, a few years ago in Bangkok, she helped me to have a functional wall draw in home. So we have recommendation. You can do online. So, oh my God, I want this.
Someone asked what I think about Marie Kondo
techniques. Marie Kondo techniques. She's very in right now. So
Well,
Good
I'm
question.
very, I have to say, I'm very grateful for Marie Kondo and also the Home Edit
Mm-hmm.
and Netflix, because they are promoting our profession,
Yeah.
and we need that,
Yeah.
because that's why I say many people have misconceptions.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing, but it's very personal opinion about Marie Kondo, like she created this. She has her own thing that I think is very useful if you live in a compact life, that it's the
Mm-hmm.
folding
Yeah.
things. You organize a home for people that live in that space. And sometimes the people don't have the time to fold things like this. But when you live in a very compact room, works.
Uh-huh.
So, but I think it's great. I think she's good. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a different approach to things that I've learned.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's great as well. But because Marie Kondo now have a Marie Kondo, like they have a school,
Mm-hmm.
and to get you have that pyramid that you have to follow the steps to becoming one of the top one.
Mm-hmm.
And then the way I've learned, like, professional organizers, and you have to do your job.
Oh,
Yeah.
understood. Yeah.
Mm.
Understood. There is somebody's telling that uh, Zelita told as you helped her to organize her home in Bangkok when she moved to the UK last year, was everything much easier. And now she doesn't keep any more things that longer serve to her. And I thought
Very good.
Zelita, because unfortunately I didn't have Dani to help me when I was living Bangkok,
Yes.
but
I didn't know how to promote myself those days.
yes, so I didn't have this opportunity, but I had to downsize a lot because I was moving from
Mm.
a huge apartment in Bangkok to a small one in Manhattan. So I couldn't bring all that I have,
Yeah.
but also I learned. I didn't have Dani to teach me that, Zelita, but I learned also with this move, this downsizing, that it's so much easier when we learning how that let things go. It's not painful, so it's actually freedom because you are not connected to material things anymore, but you remember the good thing, the good pleasures that that thing brought to you.
Yeah.
And okay,
Yeah.
it's okay to go away. And this make life so easier because if you got this concept inside of you, any kind of change in life, because life is change all the time, especially for us expat. We move from country to countries. We things change in our country and you go back, so everything is changing. So if
Yeah.
we learn to let
Well,
things go,
I think because there are so many people, they are attached for the thing because they are attached to their past.
yes,
They can't deal with what's happening now. What's if they have to deal? They have to take responsibility. So how that's going to be, and that's some people, they're just not ready for that
yes.
change.
And
Yeah.
when we are not living the present, like you say, if you are living in the past, just think
Yeah.
about the memories that thing brought to you, or if you are living the future, keeping things that you never use, but one day I can use,
Mm.
you cannot
Yeah.
be happy because happiness is the today, is the now, right? That's things that
Hmm.
can help you now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
So
is.
go back to Marie Kondo techniques. One phrase that I like to her that I don't know if she create that. You can enlighten us on this. But there is that phrase I told, right? If this thing brings
Joy.
you joy, right? Is it
Yeah.
she who creates that or not?
Yeah. I think every organizer have a kind of your awards.
Uh-huh. Understand.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It is true. Well, sometimes not necessarily bring you joy, bring you a memory. So that's what she's saying. Like, why to keep things don't bring you joy? You want to
Uh-huh.
where you want to live, how you want to live.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a question that you keep asking yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's why it's kind of mental work you do
Yes.
before you decide to hire an organizer.
Yeah. Yeah. And so going back to the essentialism that I told you about, like this guy, he wrote about how organize your professional life, but he makes a comparison with a personal organize, because he says the same thing we do in your wardrobe is the same thing you had to do in your professional life, let's say. And as a psychologist, for me, is like you should do in your personal life, right? Like things like forget that busy is productive, for example. Some people think if they are very busy all the time, they don't have time for anything. They are productive people, they are living, on high, and kind of this is not totally true, right?
Mm-hmm.
People use the busyness as an excuse for a mess home, for example.
Well,
What is
I
that to you?
I don't think your productivity is linked to
To
have a busy
busyness.
desk,
Yes.
or you're lazy if you have an empty desk.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say time is important.
Uh-huh.
So being organized save you time.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You're not wasting time looking for things.
Okay.
You're not waste time trying to find some clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So time is important,
Yes.
because you can dedicate that time for your work, for something you love, for something you need.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to do to have something on your desk or not having something on your desk. But as I say, like the bookstore, when the bookstore is organized, you find where the books are.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of books in there. So that's professional organizers create a system that works for you
Uh-huh.
with your things.
Yes.
If you want to get rid of them, you think you're ready to get rid of things,
Mm-hmm.
that I think that is wonderful.
Yes. Yeah, because
And you can donate. You can donate
you can
things.
donate,
Make
right?
other people happy.
Yeah, and you should donate, not create
Yeah.
trash to the world. I'm very aware of this, right? Because usually,
Yeah.
especially in Bangkok, no, in Bangkok, I had places to go to donations, but in the past, I was not worried like, oh, I want this thing to go to somebody because this can be used. It's too good, so why just throw in the
Yeah.
trash? Because we saw this a lot in the USA. In the US, they threw things like, something that could be good for somebody else and go to the trash can, and it's not useful anymore. You're gonna just go to
Yeah.
the landfill. So sometimes it's sad because you're just creating trash to the world to dump our mother worth of those trash that
Yeah.
we create. So this is also something to be think about it, right? And another thing is have few things, but own it what you have, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Because sometimes you have a huge wardrobe full of clothes, but you don't use, you don't even make yourself maybe more interesting or dress up better because you don't have, it's so messy that, like you said, you don't have time, and you lose time if it's not organized, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's proven.
Proven.
Yeah.
Hi, Dani.
Yeah.
So good to be here, talk to you. I want to say hello to Lizzie. Liz just joined too. She also live in England in a small apartment for a while, so she knows also how
Yeah.
to, like, is it
Important.
to
Yeah.
let things away, and learning how to live with few things. It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah.
It's
It
possible
is.
to live with less, but live more. That's what
I
I
I
think.
I just a friend contacted me yesterday, just saying, she sent me a picture and say, "Do you remember this?" I say, "No." So what is that? She said, "This bamboo you gave me when you moved from Thailand, because I couldn't bring any natural things to Australia." And then she said, "I said, oh my God, it's like I don't remember, but it's like, but it was so nice to hear. See, you gave me something that I didn't use anymore.
Yes.
It was like 6 bamboos and dry bamboos." She kept, and then she said, "I look great here. I just put on my face." It's
Yes,
that small things to make
yeah,
a
and
difference.
kind of creating other memories, right? Because I have
Yeah,
a friend like that too. I gave her some big elephants, and in every year when it's Christmas, she put the Santa Claus hat and she sent to me with the elephants like Merry Christmas, friend. So good to remember of you, right? So you
yeah,
give something away, and you are you are creating memories in your friends, right? Like now your
Yeah.
friends see your bamboo and remember of you, and this is so great.
We are kind of
So
similar.
yeah, so everyone who is afraid to give something to somebody, don't be. It's so good when somebody
I say
comes
so.
to
I'll be so
you.
happy when you see a bamboo, remember of me. Like,
Yes, like Dani, me is an elephant. She sees the elephant and she remembers me. But it's so good
right.
that we know that we
Yeah.
create people's memory. Luciana Lucci just joined us too. Thank you so much, Lucci. And we have another question. Do you work also with offices and professional spaces or only homes? That's a
Well,
good question.
it's more like home office
Home.
when you organize the files, and a small office,
Oh,
not the big ones. Yeah,
wow.
but yes, I do. Yeah, that
Okay.
was one of my first jobs in Brazil, in accounting. I used to do the files. Yeah.
Oh, so you see, we all I told that Dani has a lot of knowledge. And so
Mm.
one more thing, she's professional organized, she's a designer, I'd say, forgot the
Interior
word.
decorator. Yeah.
Interior decorator. She knows feng shui, she knows astrology, and she also is very good in organized home offices. That's super important.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I'm not good. Not good
Yeah.
at all. It's still, I'm afraid to throw papers and then we have so many papers and you don't know how to organize in a way that don't take too much space, right? And
Yeah. But
it's
there are ways. There are ways. Yeah.
oh, wonderful. Yeah, that was a very good question. Yeah, and bring to our expat world. Let me ask something. When you decide to be, you told a little bit that a psychologist talked to you like a friend, but she gave this idea to work at home. And you also remember how important it is to the expat to connect with the expat groups, right? When you arrive in a new
Mm.
country, this is super important. But how was for you the time that you could not really do your career, that you could not work, right? So many countries that go and the visa doesn't allow us to work, or because of barrier language, we cannot work. Do you remember the time when you were not working in the things that you like, and how was
Um,
it for you to be an expat like that?
well, I think since I started expat life, I couldn't do my work because that I started building a career,
Mm-hmm.
and then but I like to be active and involved in things. So I always looking for something that I can learn something and be involved. So I was involved with charities and
Mm-hmm.
or learning something new or even going to the lunches. For me, just this social experience with people for me is already learning a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I wasn't like I didn't have an income. I wasn't have this of some like work like I used to have at home. But I was doing something. I would make use of my time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And for any moment, because what I see sometimes in the clinic, Dani, some of women they join this kind of things like the social group, some charity work, right? Because when you arrive in a new country, that's what we can do. And a lot of clients that I receive here, they lost track of their professional lives,
Mhm.
right? So, can you tell us, or can you think about it? What made you not lose track of your professional life, even in the times that you could not work professionally, right? In your profession.
Well, I think it was the lack of options. I
But
was,
you could be just having fun or doing your
uh,
charity work and forget
but
about.
that's not me.
Mhm.
You know, as I told you, like okay, I could be just doing join the lunches and parties, but I really felt like I should make use of my time to learn something
Mhm.
or to. And then when I started doing this interior when I did the interior design course, I just thought, I continue working with that. And then I was kind of working. It's just hard because when you're starting building the things, after 3 years, it's not long enough. And then I had to move.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to start again from zero.
Okay. Yes.
So that was is the challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I know very well. When things start to be good for us professionally, start to move again.
Yeah. That is the hardest thing, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so maybe they have to understand themselves better, because a lot of them are not like you. So my tip now, my tip now, is you are listen to us, and you're an expat woman, expat wife, and you think that you are not really put effort in your career, in your professional, and you are just getting involved in social things, and you need help to go back to track, so then it's time to look for a psychologist.
Yeah.
Hi,
It's true.
Dani, to organize your home, because then you clear your mind, and I tell it's true.
Yeah.
Actually, somebody, when I was talking about this subject, somebody told me that sometimes when he's feeling super overwhelmed in his work, and when he cannot do all the things he has to do, what he does to focus on the work and start to produce is to organize his table. After he's organized the table to take everything who is not necessary to be in that space, it's like his mind is clear and he can do his work. So I think a home is the same. So if you're going through difficult times, maybe starting to organize your home maybe can be an exercise to also go back inside you and start to work what needs inside you. Because of course, our way to think is totally related the way you organize or don't organize your home. Right?
Yeah. Well, just as you say, you asked me before the tips for organizing. It's like the first thing is change your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are a lot of tips out there. You can find it. It's not difficult, but you need to change your mindset. And then you go and act looking for help, and have all sort of helps you can find there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a very good tip. Yeah, very important. Also, maybe in this world that it's so many options, right? And we're living in a time that we can have everything, and people think they have to have everything, right? Everybody wants to buy the next phone, the next car, the next clothes, the brand new everything, and we create so many things that is not really necessary, right? But when we start to understand ourselves, right, what we really need, what really is value to us, it's much easier to put boundaries, not only for us as humans, that we have to put boundaries in our relationships, but also the way we relate with, for example, shopping, right? How do you live in a world that everything it's available, right? And so many things that you can shop and buy, and start even to hoarder, to cluttering in your home, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's how things work in our world. It's yeah, but you don't have to do it.
You don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. But it's important to put boundaries, even related to this, right?
Yeah, know your limits. Yeah.
Know your limits. Correct. Yeah. Wonderful, Dani. So many good tips. I love that one.
I hope so.
Yeah. The one you just gave, it's so good. Yeah, it's good to change your mindset. I think for all change you can do in your life, it has to start in your mindset. It has to start there. Otherwise, change cannot happen. Cannot happen.
Exactly.
So as a psychologist, as I say that, and I'm sure Dani as a person organized.
We are putting seeds.
Yes. Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, my friends, so good talk to you. Ludmila just also arrived then, but thank you so much for joining us. We had this lovely, lovely talking with Dani. She gave us so good, many good tips how to we can improve our home, our organization, right? And it was wonderful also to be here with you. I miss you so much. I miss the fun we had in Bangkok together.
Yeah.
People
What's
has no
up?
idea what the crazy things we did it in that Bangkok, right, Dani?
Yeah.
Somebody just wrote, we have to challenge you to understand how to make people feel comfortable and safe in a site on an app by represent. Oh, Elise, she's comparing also because I told that you have to change mindset as a psychologist work and or personal organizer. She's talking about like when you design games, she work in design games, is the same thing. To make the site or the app comfortable, to present that layout comfortable for people. It has to be think about those things you told that our talk today can help her a lot in her work. So it's so good to know that our tips help, right, Dani? You see,
Yeah,
Dani?
excellent. Yeah.
That's why I decided to do this talk because I know if we stop and talk and listen about good things, about things that people knows that can help us, we can spread knowledge, we can spread good messages, and everyone can do better. So that's the purpose of the coffee with the psychologist. I hate in English because the name is Café com Psicóloga. I think the mini Portuguese is more meaningful for me.
Okay.
But that's the idea, that at least once in a month I can come here and talk about this, and people can think a little bit about their lives. And with your good tip here to change their mindset, I hope they stay with that and they can
Yeah.
start to change their mindset and make better life for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have only 2 minutes to finish our time, so Instagram is
Okay.
going to put us
Doing a
down.
great job.
I just want leave to Dani to give some.
Okay.
Yes.
I wrote something here
Oh,
that
wonderful.
I wrote a little something that's it's a little thing that's changed my life, and I think is a good thing. Okay.
Wonderful. Yes.
We change our behavior when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of changing. Consequences give us the pain that motivates us to change. I repeat.
Beautiful. Repeat, please. It's important.
Okay, when we change our behavior, when the pain is of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of changing.
Yes. Yes.
Consequences give us the pain that motivates us to change.
Yes.
So it can be painful, but
Yeah.
we after that we
After
change for
you
that's
change.
something that will be good for us.
Yes.
And
And
it is.
yeah, and sometimes you stay and don't change, even
Yeah.
more painful, right? So
Sometimes people get tired of being tired.
yeah. And that is
Yeah.
time to call Dani as your
Yeah.
personal
When you're
organizer.
tired of being tired, when you want to relax in your own home,
Is
sleep in your
exactly.
own bed.
Yes. Wonderful, Dani. Thank you so much again
Thank you.
for
Thank you, Leah.
accepting my
My pleasure.
invitation. So I wish all the best for you and for your business. Okay.
Thank you.
Pro,
Appreciate it.
promote your business. Put a lot of things out there in your Instagram because it's a very, very important job, and people need to know more and how this can help them. Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you
It's
so much,
made to help people. Okay.
friends.
Thank you, Leah.
Thank you. Have a good night for you, and have a
Thank you.
good
You
day,
too.
everyone who is in Europe and Brazil is
Bye.
starting. Bye bye, everyone. Thank you for watching us. Bye, Dani. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye
Thank you,
bye.
Leah. Ciao.